Hello, welcome back to the next lesson on writing. I think this one's going to be a lot more of a pragmatic overview, so we're going to be discussing less of the fantasy landscapes, things like that. We're not going to be doing any frilly bits. Today is all about technique and what your editors and agents are going to be looking for when you send them your manuscript. It's very, 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 very important to make sure. Sorry, just 1 second. Turn it down a little bit. It's very, very important to make sure that your manuscript looks as good as it can, because, as I know by actual experience, that a lot of editors will get a lot of manuscripts, and if they do not like what they see on the first page, it will go in the bin. It will not be looked at. What we're trying to do here is make sure that your manuscript gets past the first stage, it gets read, basically. So let's do that. Alright, editors and agents. Most of them are very nice people, and most of them, if you are very polite to them, they'll give you informed feedback on your writing. Now, remember what I said in previous lessons, and that's not that you should take what they say seriously, but also you should also have the arrogance to be able to turn around and say, well, I think it's good, you know, especially if you've poured your heart and soul into it. But literary agents as a whole, these are two separate things. Your editor will be somebody who goes through your work and make sure that they can change things and, you know, give you really good pointers. Normally you'll get an editor after you have a literary agent. An agent is someone who represents you and your work, and an editor is someone that the agent goes to give them your work, to basically go over it with a fine comb and make sure that everything's fine. So then it gets passed on to proofreaders, then it gets sent back to you, and the changes that you need to make, and what they think you should make anyway. Generally, as you're an author, if you're a new author, you won't get very much wiggle room. They will literally sometimes tell you what changes you have to make, or we're not publishing your book. You know, it's just that simple. If you're Stephen King, then yes, you will be able to say, well, I'm not changing that, screw you, publish it anyway, and they will, because you're Stephen King. But at the moment, you know, you're going to have to make some sacrifices. You're going to have to make sure that you are, you know, open to changing certain parts of your story. But your integrity means the most. It means the most, the fact that you can turn around to people and say, no, this is how the story is going to be, this is how I want to write it, and that's how it's going to be. That's great, and you should stick to that. Good editors and agents will be able to work around your needs and your wants for your story. But what they don't want to do is read unprofessional work. If they open the first page and what they see does not look professional, it will go in the bin. If they read the first few paragraphs and what they read is not professional or talented, it will go in the bin, and you will never get a reply. Okay? So, your story could be an amazing, rip-roaring ride that changes the industry forever. If it has spelling mistakes and is not set out properly, it will immediately go in the bin. It doesn't matter. You could be Tolkien, you could be Brendan Sanderson. If your manuscript has spelling mistakes in it, it will go in the bin straight away. Okay? Let's fix that with 5 tips. Well, there's going to be more than 5 tips, to be honest with you, to make your manuscript stand out and read like you know what you're doing. Yeah? Fake it till you make it, sort of a thing. So, spacing and text. Times New Roman. Yes, it's boring, but it's expected. It's industry standard to put your manuscripts in Times New Roman. If I get a manuscript from a student and it has anything but Times New Roman, I will go back to them and say, put it in Times New Roman, you fucking numpty. And that is because Times New Roman as a thing, it's just standard practice. It's easy to read. It's the bog standard. I don't want to see anything in Calabri. I don't want to see anything in, you know, Caldara. I want to see it in Times New Roman. That's just as simple as that. And every single literary agent and editor will tell you exactly the same thing. Number 2, each page must be numbered. It helps your editor and agent pick out parts to comment on. Okay, and you must use, these two things are combined. You must use double spacing. Editors will throw your manuscript away if it does not. If I do not see double spacing, I don't normally throw things away straight away. I'll give it a read anyway, but I'm not most people. Other people will see that your manuscript does not have double spacing and they'll throw it in the bin. because it's harder to read and it's harder to make notes on. The double spacing is there to make sure that you can read my notes very easily, and I can easily point out what I'm making notes on. It also looks neater, and it also, when a manuscript is double spaced, you can actually see the flow of the story a lot better than you can when it's all bunched up together like it's in a book. So those are the spacing and text. Spelling and names. Very, 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 very important. Go over and over, combing for spelling and grammar mistakes, okay? Sentences should not be over 45 words long, normally, okay? It's normally. And definitely not without a comma, right? If you're making a point with the sentence being overly long because somebody's running out of breath, that's fine. But normally, no more than 45 words long, and definitely not without a comma if they are over 45 words long, okay? If you have a 45 to 60 word sentence, a comma should be in there. There's no excuse, all right? This is standard grammar, and this is just how it has to be, okay? Names should also be different, so I don't want Gary, Jerry, and Gerald going on an adventure, okay? This is standard practice. Another thing with names is do not have names in your story that are, and I swear to God, this happens more than you think, but do not have names in your story that sound like you, right? Like, say if your name is Jack, don't have someone in your story called Jack, okay? It looks really, really, really bad. It looks like you're injecting yourself into the story, and I have lost count of the amount of times I've come across that with an author's first work. Okay? So, double-spaced. Everything needs to be punctuated properly. Go over it and over it and over it with a fine comb before you send it out to make sure your spelling is correct. And by the way, if you are using a fantasy setting or a sci-fi setting, and you have something like the people of Clumdu, right? If you spell the word Clumdu wrong, it's a made-up word, but if you spell it wrong, then you need to consistently spell it wrong. So Clumdu, let's say it's Klumdu, yeah? It needs to be that way throughout the entire story. The entire story. If you change the way that you are saying certain made-up words that are in your setting, that's a bad sign, okay? And that's one of the first things that people get wrong, is that they somehow, they write these things and they're not professional, they're not. And you will be surprised of the amount of people that I've had when they've done a magic system in their world called, Fletchling or something like that, and it's spelt differently. It's spelt in two different ways throughout the story, and where they haven't quite decided, and you can just tell they haven't gone over it with a fine comb. Have pride in your work. It needs to be. If you don't put pride in, why should I bother reading it? Why should any literary agent or editor bother reading your work if you don't have the pride to make sure that these things are correct? Okay? Again, short video today. It's not going to be super long, because these are just the things that I wanted to put out there, because these are the main mistakes that people make all throughout this video. These are the main mistakes that people make when they go and they send their work to a literary agent. Now, a literary agent is the first person you should send your work to, because they're the people who will be able to tell you whether your book is marketable. Now, do not take what they say to heart, because at the end of the day, a literary agent wants to make money. That's all they want to do. They want to make money. If they don't see money in your work, they'll say, "Okay, I'm not taking it because I don't see very much money in it." And that can be down to anything. That could be through a saturation in the market. That could be, especially if it's fantasy. Could be because they already have a story on file that's quite similar. Could be anything. Okay, but don't take what they say to heart. At the end of the day, they want to sell a story. If they come back to you and you say your story doesn't work because mechanically it doesn't work, or you're just not a very good writer, then yeah, you need to go and learn, you need to go and take a course, you need to go do something to make yourself a better writer. Editors, on the other hand, take what they say very, very seriously. If they say your story is not paced properly, if they say that you name things in different ways throughout the story, if they say that one of your characters is not likable for a certain reason, take what they say, seriously consider it, and if you agree, then change. Yeah? You should agree because they're getting paid, but change. Okay? Do what you need to do. I will be going into more in depth in future videos about writing as well. But I just wanted to put these things on there because I've received quite a few stories so far from subscribers, which is very nice. And a lot of them have the same mistakes in them. And I'm not, so I'm not going to name names. Not going to get anyone out there. But these are the things that you guys need to be working on. Less so the naming stuff, okay? None of you guys are that silly. But I have come across it before. So I'll continue to give you private feedback on your stories and your worlds. Don't worry about that. That's great. I think that's great. But yeah, let's move on to adjectives. So adjectives, don't overuse them. They're wonderful. I love a good adjective when it's used properly, okay? I love when people describe things that are really pertinent to the story and really immerse me in the world. But to be honest with you, it's okay to be simple in your descriptions at times, so long as your story hits when it counts, okay? Do I really need to know what mountains look like when we are passing by them on a boat to a massive city? Not really, you know? I don't need to know. I need to know that there are mountains there, and maybe tell me what colour they are, or maybe tell me what size they are. Apart from that, I don't really need to know anything about them, do I? Because they're not pertinent to the story, and you're just generating massive amounts of bloat within your story by describing them. Okay? I don't really need to know about those. The city I need to know about, the boat I need to know about, the water I need to know about, the weather I need to know about. I don't need to know about the mountains over there. Okay? But do I need to know what they look like if our character is about to climb them? Definitely. Definitely. Now describe them in detail. Are there paths leading up? Are they sheer? What kind of rock are they made from? What colour are they? Is it raining? You know, what are the smells that they're going on about? Are there animals on there? Is there shrubbery? What's going on? You know, then I do need to know what's going on. But adjectives as a point, you can describe without them so much, okay? We don't need these big, beautiful, long adjectives to describe a mountain. We can just say, it's large, it is blue, at the top, it has snow on it, and it is sheer, okay? So it's really hard to climb up. So you're going to need to, like, use an ice pick or something. That's fine. That's fine. Sometimes knowing when to call your punches is the best thing for you as a writer, okay? Not every single thing in your book needs to be described beautifully. And, you know, give yourself a break. You're here to write a story. Give yourself a break. There are times when adjectives need to be used, when you need to make a point, okay? When you need to really make a descriptive point. Say, this is what this looks like, yeah? Yeah, the rain is flowing down his cape like, you know, like shimmering glass. That's fine, because you're describing your hero, and he's in this situation where it's raining. You've got so many things using that adjective out of that sentence, yeah, yeah. You've got your hero. You've got the fact that he's wearing a cape, so that he's probably a superhero. You've got the fact that it's raining, and the fact that it's glistening down him like glass. That in my mind makes it sound like it's a black cape. Because of glass, you can see through it, yeah? Got all those things in that one adjective, and I've just made it up at the top of my head, yeah? So use them sparingly, but when you use them, make sure that you use them in points where you think that you need to make a point where you need to hit home, okay? That's pretty much it for now. Nice and quick, nice and short. Just want to get that advice out there. Those are things you're going to need to know for your manuscript, okay? I will go into much more detail about other things as we go along. I'll be doing more videos in the coming weeks about you know, your manuscript, how it's supposed to look, how it's supposed to feel, and I may even show you one of mine actually got published, so you can see what a manuscript is supposed to look like and read like from a fantasy standpoint. Alright? Well, thanks so much for watching. I'll speak to you guys later.